Many have mistaken idea that basketball played by women is slow, unattractive sport, mainly because of the two-division court. Girls are by nature quick and excessively competitive. Their games improve much action with thrills and spills galore.
Harley joined World War II, becoming a bomber stationed in the Solomon Islands.
After 4 years of service, Harley obtained a master's degree at North Texas State, known today as the University of North Texas, and started coaching at Wayland Baptist, a private Christian college in Plainview, Texas.
Well, Wayland was a great place. They hired me to start intercollegiate athletics. Wayland had stopped everything for the war. No athletics of any kind. So when I started, we were just like starting from scratch. They didn't know we were going to have a team, and I got hired just to start intercollegiate athletics. We lost our first 6 games, and I was taking it pretty hard, but then we finally got started because they were new players and I was a new coach, and we were having a hard time. After that, we did pretty well the rest of the season. Well, it was about 1970. We had an undefeated season and about the best team that I ever had, I guess.
I actually came the year after. The year before I came, they lost their first game in that streak. So I played with players that were on that team that I admired so much and that taught me so many things about basketball. I played during the time when women's basketball was just beginning to be recognized. But Harley Redin knew basketball, and of course he had played it, and he had coached men's basketball, so he was taking on a lot, taking on a women's team. But I think that he saw where women's basketball was going, and he wanted to be a part of it. He knew our abilities. He knew where we needed to be on the team. For instance, when I came, I had been playing forward on my high school team. I'd played on the defensive end, but also mainly forward. But he saw my defensive abilities, and I became a defensive player. And I loved it. That's where I needed to be, and he knew it. And so through his insight, he put me where I needed to be on the team, and I got to play a lot because of it. He wasn't the type that fell apart at all, but he was firm. And he told us firmly, you have got to do this, or you have got to do that, or don't do that again. Or he was firm with us and made us see explained to us, at least would explain to us what you're doing wrong, and you need to do this to get it straight. And of course, we could buy some bench time real easily if we didn't do what he told us.
At the time, the rules for AAU women's basketball were wildly different from today's rules. As a member of the AAU Rules Committee, Harley was a driving force in the transition to modern-day rules.
In AAU basketball, we had 2 guards, 2 forwards, and 2 rovers. They went back all the way. And that had been the rules for a long time. But we changed over to the 5-player game, and it worked better. We went from divided court to full court, unlimited dribble, and no time limit.
Certainly, there were other great people pushing for this in basketball. Certainly, there were other people that knew what women were capable of doing, and that we could play that tough basketball. And Harley was a big part of that. I don't think I've ever seen him not say, these girls can play basketball. Turn them loose, let them play. They know how to play. He always was behind us and behind that 5-man. Let's get into the 5-man game. Let's push these women because they can play basketball. He always. And when we played other countries, of course, we played that game, and he knew just exactly what to tell us to do. And some of us, we thought, oh my, having to run that whole court. But he had us ready, and we ran it, and we did well.
Years after retirement in 1974, Harley continues to inspire new generations of players and coaches.
Harley's been one of my mentors, and he has been one of my heroes for a long time. I was fortunate enough to be able to grow up here since I was 2 years old, and so I was always told about him and the Flying Queens. And so growing up, I'm going to be honest, I never thought I would be here coaching. But to be able to have that opportunity and for God to give me this chance to be here, and Harley had a lot to do with that. But it's just a blessing. And the legacy that they have, I'm super thankful for, just because if it weren't for these guys, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did and play basketball where I was. And so I'm super thankful. I'm humbled for the opportunity to be here, and it's just super special to be able to bring kids these days in and be able to teach them about the history of the Flying Queens and Harley Redin. It's just amazing that they're still here and they're still big supporters, and for them to be able to come to the games and stuff, makes you a little bit nervous just because of who he is. But one of the things that goes through my head almost every day when I come to work is I want to make him proud. And he's done such a good job with Wayland. They care about Wayland and the Flying Queens, and they want it to be successful. And so that was one of the things that was a little bit made me a little bit nervous when I first took the job. Was I don't want to be successful, but I want it to be really good. And we want to go win that national championship. And the first person, when we do that, the first person I think of will be Harley Redin.
He has always been an encouragement in my life. When we were seniors, ready to graduate, Coach Redin had a conference with each of the seniors. And when I went in for mine, we talked about, I had a degree in education, I was going to teach, and he said, well, Glenna, why don't you coach basketball? And I said, well, I just don't think I could coach basketball. At that time, it was a man's job to coach. I said, I just don't think I could do it. And he said, yes, you could. You have the experience and the skills to coach basketball. You could do it. He said, you have proven on the basketball court you're tough enough, and you love to see it played right, and that your passion for the game is going to make you a good coach. So I coached, and I was the only woman coach, and I don't know, miles and miles around here. It took a while for them to pick up the fact that women could coach sports, but I never had a bad team.
For their incredible winning record and the program's instrumental part in the evolution of women's basketball, the Wayland Baptist Hutcherson Flying Queens were inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame in 2019.
The Queens getting into the Naismith Hall of Fame means a lot to me. Not only that, but it's going to be something special to be able to play under a banner that says that. When we bring in recruits, to be able to show them that, and not every institution gets to do that. And so that's what's going to separate us. It automatically separates us and puts us on a different level. And so it's just something special, and not everybody, to be able to be named with Michael Jordan and Nancy Lieberman and people like that is something special.
Well, it means a lot, because they have been all the Flying Queens that I coached and that are played the game are really enjoying the getting recognized more.
Harley deserves more, and they have done a good job at recognizing him. I'm not saying that they haven't. They've done. He's won a lot of awards, and I think if you talk to him to this day, that'd be the least of his concern, and that's something that he's not real worried about, our awards. But the man is amazing. I mean, he's unbelievable in what he's done, not only on the floor but off the floor. And so I think if you asked me if he's gotten, recognized as much as he should, I probably will tell you no, because I'm always going to say he deserves more.
Well, I feel a great deal of gratitude that I was able to be a part of the Flying Queens organization, being a part of people who loved women's basketball, who encouraged us, who tried to do the best they could for us, and not only while we were playing, but stayed in contact with us after. It's just a very inspirational and wonderful thing for me that I could play and be a part of what Harley has done.
A winning team is a combination of many factors, as those who have coached well know. In case of the Hutchinson Flying Queens of Wayland Baptist College, who have broken most amateur athletic team records in women's basketball, certainly records could not or would not have been broken without a rare combination of persons and support.